All right, so I'm a glass is half full kind of guy. I'm an optimist by nature, and I feel that it is my duty to confront pessimism when I see it. And I feel that there's been a lot of pessimism directed towards the Clemson football program, and honestly, I get it. I understand it. They're in the Cheez-Its Bowl 2 years ago. They got clobbered by Tennessee in the Orange Bowl last year. The optics aren't great right now. I get it. But I will defend the Clemson football program by simply saying Dabo Swinney is still there. As long as he is there, the culture that has been carefully crafted by him over the past several years that is rooted in inspiration, motivation, and in maximizing the potential of all of his players will continue to be reinforced each and every single day, which will fuel Clemson to being an effective and sustainably successful program down the line. I always like to make NFL analogies on this program here. And you look at the Seattle Seahawks, you look at the Pittsburgh Steelers, who still have Pete Carroll and Mike Tomlin respectively. Even though in the past several years their rosters haven't been as great as they've been in the past, both teams have either competed for or secured a playoff spot, and that is thanks to the guidance and the leadership and simply the presence of Pete Carroll and Mike Tomlin. The same situation exists in Clemson. As long as Dabo Swinney is there, his presence alone will be enough to uplift Clemson and keep them in that playoff conversation with your prominent brands like Alabama, Georgia, Michigan, Ohio State, and so on and so forth. Clemson has not lost what they're good at. When I become concerned about a program is when they're not as effective at what they're good at. They're not as effective at their strength. Clemson's strength has been in brutal, suffocating defense. And honestly, that's still there. In fact, going into this year, Clemson still has a top 5 defense. Look at the names like Jeremiah Trotter Jr. and Barrett Carter. That linebacker duo is lethal. And what a lethal linebacker duo does is it disrupts the flow of offense. It frazzles, it miscombobulates, it frustrates opposing quarterbacks. And that's how you keep opponents like below 20, 24 points, is when your offense is just disjointed. At quarterback, he's your nucleus. If you have that linebacker duo, they're getting to that quarterback. You're not gaining as many yards off of each play. And the offensive coordinators, quarterbacks, receivers, they start to get frustrated because of the presence of those linebackers. Jeremiah Trotter Jr., Barrett Carter, they had 12 sacks combined last year. They're still going to be here this year, and I expect that number of sacks to go up. It's a ferocious duo. I also got to give a little shout out to Thompson High School. All those folks up in Alabaster, Alabama. Shout out to those folks up in Alabaster, Alabama. Alabama State Pride. We're all about it here in Tuscaloosa. Peter Woods, defensive tackle, 5-star freshman out of Thompson High School. In fact, he was the number 1 defensive tackle in the state of Alabama. He is a Clemson Tiger. This is his freshman year. He made a big impact in the Clemson spring game. He turned a lot of heads, earned a lot of praise. And my prediction, pain. I predict that he will not only start, but he'll make an immediate impact in his position as a defensive tackle at Clemson this year. It's also important to note that it'll be Wes Goodwin's second year as defensive coordinator. Of course, he's the gentleman that succeeded Brett Venables, who took the Oklahoma job back in 2022. Those are massive shoes to fill. Wes Goodwin not only faced that challenge, but the challenge of having multiple, not only players, but star impact players go down with injuries last year. That's tough to deal with when you're a first-year defensive coordinator. And Clemson to Clemson standards, their defense declined, so to speak, last year. But I expect them to uphold that top 5 ranking this year. We also got to dissect that quarterback situation. I'm going to try this right here. Give me some grace, folks. DJ Wungalele. I think I got that right. I'm going to give myself a pat on the back. I think I got that name right. Of course, he transferred to Oregon State this past offseason, and while DJ Wungalele was there, the offense was very clunky at Clemson. He wasn't exactly a perfect fit for the system at Clemson, wasn't a systematic fit. That's why he transferred to Oregon State, and I'm confident that he's going to flourish over there. But when we talk about Clemson, we got to talk about Cade Klubnik. I was really impressed by him last year. He wasn't flashy by any means, but he came into that Syracuse game when Clemson was down 21-10, and he stimulated that comeback. That's what really garnered my attention when it came to Cade Klubnik last year, was that Syracuse game. And you also look at the North Carolina game, the ACC Championship, where Cade Klubnik aided in absolutely annihilating the Tar Heels. And, of course, we have to acknowledge the Orange Bowl against Tennessee, where Clemson got clobbered. Cade Klubnik was not his best in that game, but I'm confident that not only Cade Klubnik, but Clemson's entire offensive and defensive unit, as well as Dabo Swinney and the entire coaching staff and organization, felt that loss. It was very painful. It's something that you think about, reflect on, and then formulate a solution to the following season. Clemson was very flustered that night. It was not only Cade Klubnik, but Clemson overall is going to learn. That was a very impactful game for that program, and I think it's going to spark progress here in the future, not going to lie. And lastly, I want to note that there has been a deficiency when it comes to the wide receiver room at Clemson over these past several years. It's probably been the most lacking unit on the team, especially last year. But Clemson, like all great organizations, addressed that this offseason, bringing in 5-star wide receiver Brian Gregoire and 4-star wide receiver TJ Moore. This was the class of 2024, of course, so I believe that they'll have an impact in the future. That's why I believe that Clemson will be sustainably successful, and they will continue to emerge in that dominant conversation. Great teams often have gaps between championships. Look at the New England Patriots. There was a 10-year gap between their Super Bowls at one point. Everybody talks about the final 3 that the Patriots won under Brady, but everybody forgets about that 10-year gap that there was. Yes, there's been a gap between Clemson's last national championship and now, but I'm confident by the retooling that they're doing right now and the attention that they're giving to the units that need it, Clemson will continue to remain competitive and pursue championships in these years to come under Dabo Swinney. Have a great day. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate you and the time that you took out of your day to watch the video, and if you enjoyed it, please be sure to like the video and share it, as well as subscribe to The Era. The more likes and subscribers I get on this channel, the more resources I can attain, and the more resources I can attain, the more value I can provide to you, the viewer. And that is how I show my appreciation for you for the time that you devote to watching my videos. So thank you so much, and have a great day.